Welcome. Thank you for joining us as we open to the energies of Aries as an esoteric group in anticipation of this great equinox that we will experience in the coming days.
Remember that the entire story of evolution is the story of consciousness and of a growing expansion of the becoming aware principle, so that from the microscopic interest of the self-conscious man, we have a slowly developing inclusiveness which finally leads into the consciousness of the cosmic Christ.
Our themes in Aries: life, from the cosmic to systemic to planetary and into our etheric being. The keynotes: creation, being, activity, strife, and synthesis. Will, purpose, and direction as those come to us through the great constellation Aries, and impact our progression on the path through triangles and the rays.
We are breathing into the energies of Aries and opening to breathe more deeply those dynamic energies into our group service. Esoteric Astrology is essentially the purest presentation of occult truth in the world at this time, because it is the science which deals with those conditioning and governing energies and forces which play through and upon the whole field of space and all that is found within that field. Before we begin, let us align as a soul and as a group, and see our group approaching Master DK study. See our path ahead leading to the Master's study. The path lined with lotus blossoms as we approach the every door which opens as the Master greets us and invites us in. Let us align as soul with all those studying and meditating with Master DK. From the highest point of soul focus, with the attitude of the observer, we say together, I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design.
Together we enter into this point of light directing our way as we enter deeply into our contemplative approach to the energies of Aries. Aries. Aries is the sign of beginnings, the beginning of the creative process, the first step of the soul into incarnation, the beginning and recurring and constant cycles of experience, the beginning of the period wherein the soul changes its direction, its purpose, and its method, and finally enters upon that definitely defined process which we call spiritual regeneration and initiation.
beginning the process. Aries is the initiator of the process which leads to progress. And the word said, "Let form again be sought." I come forth, and from the plane of mind, I rule. Creation, being, activity, strife, and synthesis are key words or key themes or stages of development in Aries. These are the nature of the Lord of the first constellation and enable him to influence our planet to these results: creation, being, activity, strife, and synthesis.
Aries is the constellation through which initiating conditions will stream into our solar system. It embodies the will to create that which will express the will to good. It is the monadic ray of our planetary logos, whose soul ray is the second, and the personality ray the third. You can note here, therefore, how the transmitting ray of our planetary logos is the first, and hence the place which the will plays in our human evolutionary process. His transforming ray is the second, and that eventually brings transfiguration through the medium of the third. And in this combination, you have the reason why, in the evolution of the will aspect, you have the influence of Mars and Mercury, the one bringing conflict and the death of the form, and the other bringing illumination and the development of the intuition as a result of that conflict and death. New cycles of being and of consciousness are initiated by conflict. Such seems as yet to be the law of life and the governing factor in evolution. If, however, the result of this initiating, energizing will is to produce such beneficent effects of intuitive understanding and the activity of Mercury as the messenger of the gods, it can be seen how truly, through conflict, the will to good can be wrought out. Aries, the light of life itself. Aries is the dim point of light found at the center of the cycle of manifestation, faint and flickering. It is the searchlight of the Logos, seeking that which can be used for divine expression. I shall utilize the word life when referring to spirit, to energy, to the Father, to the first aspect of divinity, and to that essential dynamic electric fire which produces all that is, and is the sustaining, originating cause and source of all manifestation. Aries is connected with soul intention, the vibratory activity of which, under the impulse of the monad, initiates the successive involutionary periods which produce appearance upon the physical plane. There is one boundless immutable principle, one absolute reality which antecedes all manifested conditioned being. It is beyond the range and reach of any human thought or expression. The manifested universe is contained within this absolute reality and is a conditioned symbol of it. In the totality of this manifested universe, three aspects are to be conceived. 1. the first cosmic logos, impersonal and unmanifested, the precursor of the manifested. 2. The second cosmic logos, spirit matter, life, the spirit of the universe. And 3. The third cosmic logos, cosmic ideation, the universal world soul.
Life cannot be expressed in words, nor can its realized perfection. The process of becoming, which leads to being, is a cosmic event, involving all forms, and no Son of God lies separated from that mutable process as yet. As long as one is in form, one cannot know what life is, though when one has attained certain steps and can function on the higher planes of the system in full awareness, one can begin to glimpse that awful reality. Certain great initiates, down the ages, have fulfilled their function of revealers and have held before the eyes of the pioneering disciples of life the ideal of oneness and of unity. It has nevertheless been a matter of shifting the focus of attention progressively out of one form into another, and thus, from a higher standpoint, getting a fresh glimpse of a possible truth. Each age, and the present is no exception, has believed its grasp of reality and its sensitivity to the inner beauty to be greater and nearer the true than was ever previously possible. The highest realization of what is termed the One Life is the awareness of the initiate of high degree, of the embodied logos, of deity, and his identification with the consciousness of that stupendous creator who is seeking expression through the medium of the solar system. No initiate on the planet can identify the self with the consciousness of that identified being, in the esoteric sense of the term, who, speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, says, "Having pervaded the entire universe with a fragment of myself, I remain." These thoughts I commend to your consideration and to your careful pondering, begging you to see to it that there is a steady expansion of your sense of awareness and a growing capacity to make understanding contacts with that emerging truth, reality, and beauty which the universe declares. Guard yourself at the same time from mystical rhapsodies anent the one life, which are apt to be no more than the negation of all mental apprehension and a luxuriating in the sensuous perception of a highly developed and high-grade emotional nature.
The Trinity is an archetypal relationship. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. Fohat is associated with the third part of that Trinity, with the Brahma, with the Holy Ghost. Fohat is the Lord of cosmic electricity. Are we any the wiser for knowing that? He is the great active creative agent sent on his missions of creativity through the use of the vortex, Fohat is like the tornado in the Trinity, and through expression via vorticular motion, he creates all form through the use of cosmic electrical principles. Where does Fohat live? What's his address? Okay. Fohat is a being who resides on high cosmic levels. He resides probably on the higher cosmic mental plane, and until you see a map, it doesn't make any sense. And even if you see a map, it doesn't make any sense. But way, way up there in cosmos is this great creative Lord of universal electricity, responsible for all manifestation. He is, in a way, Agni. Agni is another name for that part of the solar logos, solar God, who created the manifested worlds. Everything we have here, everything on the cosmic physical plane, everything in the personality of the solar God, meaning his emotional body, his mental body, Fohat is behind all of that. And Fohat descends through the planes with his vorticular motion and whips everything up into relationship so that the positive, the negative, and the neutral can all express. He is the great fire of creativity. He is Lord Brahma. He is the true high cosmic Holy Ghost. And what can you say about Fohat? I've said, in my experience teaching esotericism, I've said so many things about Fohat. And the question is, have I really understood any of them? Or has anybody really understood any of them? It is the great actor, says Blavatsky. Fohat is the being who is involved with the principle of activity. There's will, there's wisdom, and there's activity. Fohat is active, arranging all things into the form that the divine plan requires, or maybe I should say the divine pattern requires. So he is the mover. He is the shaker. Should I even say he? I shouldn't say he. I should just say it, This great cosmic force builds our worlds. And when we study electricity, just the ABCs of plus, minus, neutral, we are gradually ascending on this great journey towards an understanding of the electrical construction of the entire universe. We're not going to come face to face with Fohat. Fohat, that's the kind of energy that the solar logos has to be wary of. He wields it to a degree, but it's even beyond him. It's beyond and beyond and beyond. It's the great principle of electrical activity in the entire cosmos, going through many types of adaptations depending upon the level. Supergalactic, galactic, constellational cluster levels, one about whom's not to be said, all these different levels of aggregations. Fohat is active, swirling everything together into the design that is intended by the greatest of all the logoi. So there's universal Fohat, sub-universal, blah, 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 blah. There's the Fohat that is wielded by the solar logos, and also there is our own kind of Fohat, our own kind of electricity by which we undertake the creative magical process. It is a creative Lord, Fohat, and it has 3 different divisions: will, love, and activity. Every 3 is a 9. In cosmic numerology, every 3 is a 9. So you're never going to get away naming 3 without 9. And Fohat is the 3rd aspect, but it has also 3 different divisions. So it's involved with the love energy, with the will energy, with the creative arranging energy. Suffice it to say, if you're going to be creative, you need one of the extensions of Fohat. Better not try to be wielding Fohat just yet. You're more wielded by Fohat than wielding. But as we understand the creative principle, we are ascending along the line which will lead us to an understanding of this God of cosmic electricity.
Some definitions for those who may not have studied the secret doctrine and treatise on cosmic fire. Fohat is divine thought or energy, the interplay between spirit and matter. Akasha, on a very high level, in manifestation, expresses itself as Fohat, or divine energy. And Fohat, on the different planes, is known as ether, air, fire, water, electricity, ether, prana, and similar terms. It is the sum total of that which is active, animated, or vitalized, and of all that concerns itself with the adaptation of the form to the needs of the inner flame of life.
Michael Robbins often refers to the diagrams or these intricate imagery that were given by the master as the maps. And we can reference two versions, adding color to the chart 5 from A Treatise on Cosmic Fire, to see the location of the human monad on the monadic plane, the plane of Akasha, not to be confused with Akashic records on a planetary level. We might say that Aries transmits the energy of life through the ray energies from the highest to the lowest planes. And the monad is to the planetary logos what the third eye is to man. This involves the mental plane, relates to the third initiation, and concerns the head center and the light of purpose. Each solar system is the manifestation of the energy and life of a great cosmic existence, whom we call, for lack of a better term, a solar logos. This solar logos incarnates through the medium of a solar system. This solar system is the body or form of this cosmic life and is itself triple. This triple solar system can be described in terms of three aspects, or, as the Christian theology puts it, in terms of three persons. The first person, described as Father, Life, Will, Purpose, is positive energy, electric fire, or spirit. The second person is described as Sun, Consciousness, Love, Wisdom, and equilibrized energy, solar fire, or soul. And the third person, the Holy Spirit, form, active intelligence, and negative or receptive energy, fire by friction, or body or matter.
Matter is the vehicle for the manifestation of soul on this plane of existence, and soul is the vehicle on a higher plane for the manifestation of spirit. And these three are a trinity synthesized by life, which pervades them all. From The Secret Doctrine, Volume 1, page 80, 3rd edition. And quoting Master D.K., only that which is brought into use in the life is of practical value and retains its livingness.
Aries is one of the constellations of the cardinal cross of the heavens. This is the cross of God, the Father, and, therefore, of the incarnating monad. It is the expression of will or power as it expresses itself through the great creative process. When the initiate transfers himself onto the cardinal cross from which he descended when coming into incarnation, and mounted in its place the common or mutable cross, he no longer identifies himself with form or even with soul, but with the will of divinity and with the eternal plan and purpose. It becomes his plan and purpose. He knows no other, in a sense which is unknown even to an initiate of the 3rd degree. He then enters into the council chamber of God. He becomes a part of the conclave at Shambhala. He functions no longer simply as a member of the hierarchy upon the mental plane. He can now function through all the 3 world centers: humanity, the hierarchy, and Shambhala, achieving identification as the monad.
The 3 expressions of the divine life may be regarded as expressing the triple mode of manifestation. First, the objective or tangible universe. The fire is internal. The ray is the primordial ray. The aspect, intelligent activity, and the expression, rotary motion, governed by the law of economy, and its quality, fire by friction, relating to personality, humanity. The second of the 3 expressions of the divine life, regarded as expressing the triple mode of manifestation. Second, the subjective worlds or form. The fire is the fire of mind. The ray is the ray of love. The aspect, intelligent love. And the expression, spiral cyclic motion, governed by the law of attraction. And its quality, solar fire, relating to soul, hierarchy. The third aspect of the divine life, expressing the triple mode of manifestation. Thirdly, the spiritual aspect which is to be found at the heart of all. The fire is the divine flame. Ray is the ray of will. The aspect is intelligent will. The expression, forward progression, governed by the law of synthesis, and its quality, electric fire, all relating to Sanat Kumara at Shambhala.
When in meditation, we invoke the energies of the planetary triangle, Shambhala, hierarchy, humanity. We are invoking the 3 expressions of the divine life, expressing as the triple mode of manifestation, electric fire, solar fire, fire by friction. This life principle in man manifests in a triple manner. 1. As the directional will, purpose, basic incentive. This is the dynamic energy which sets his being functioning brings him into existence, fixes the term of his life, carries him through the years, long or short, and abstracts itself at the close of his life cycle. This is the spirit in man, manifesting as the will to live, to be, to act, to pursue, to evolve. In its lowest aspect, this works through the mental body or nature, and in connection with the dense physical, makes itself felt through the brain. Two, as coherent force. It is that significant, essential quality which makes each man different, which produces that complex manifestation of moods, desires, qualities, complexes, inhibitions, feelings, and characteristics which produce a man's peculiar psychology. This is the result of the interplay between spirit or energy aspect and the matter or body nature. This is the distinctive subjective man, his coloring or individual note. This it is which sets the rate of vibratory activity of his body, produces his particular type of form, is responsible for the condition and nature of his organs, his glands, and his outer aspects. This is the soul, and, in its lowest aspect, is to be seen working through the emotional or astral nature, and in connection with the dense physical body through the heart. Three, as the activity of the atoms and cells of which the physical body is composed. It is the sum total of those little lives of which the human organs, comprising the entire man, are composed. These have a life of their own and a consciousness which is strictly individual and identified. This aspect of the life principle works through the etheric or vital body and in connection with the solid mechanism of the tangible form through the spleen.
So let us align as a group to these ideas: life, quality, and appearance.
We act as if, for energy follows thought, lifting the mind with aspiration. We consciously achieve soul focus, assuming the attitude of the observer with impersonal love in group formation. We use creative visualization and the ajna center as the screen of the higher mind. We are lifted into the higher consciousness and become inspired to reach even greater unity in soul consciousness, striving towards the Buddhic plane and the spiritual triad and illumination.
Let us pause to lift the solar plexus into the heart and then to the heart in the head center. To bring about a group unity rooted in love requires the awakening of the heart center into greater potency. Only from the heart center can stream in reality those lines of energy which link and bind together. Our group meditation will stimulate the heart into action, linking the heart center between the shoulder blades to the head center through the medium of the heart center, which is found in the head center, the 1,000-petaled lotus. This heart center in the head, when adequately radiatory and magnetic, will relate us afresh to each other and to all the world. This again, when connected by an act of spiritual will to the solar plexus center, will help to produce that telepathic interplay which is so much to be desired and which is so constructively useful to the spiritual hierarchy, provided it is established within a group of pledged disciples dedicated to the service of humanity. They can then be trusted. The words of Master DK.
Let us sound together as a group. I am the soul, and also love I am. Above all else, I am both will and fixed design. My will is now to lift the lower self into the light divine. This light I am. Therefore, I must descend to where the lower self awaits my coming. That which desires to lift and that which cries aloud for lifting are now at one. Having sent the energy from the heart in the head center to the solar plexus, the 2 points of the solar plexus lifting and merging, and then on a line of lighted breath, lifting that energy through the heart, up the etheric spine, to the head. Such is my will. The quality of the heart center, life, as expressed activity, which is the manifestation of love, because it is essential dualism. Love, wisdom. The 5 o'clock mantra, which is also called the affirmation of the disciple, affirms the triplicity. May the power of the one life pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of the one soul characterize the lives of all who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part in the one work through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech.
Let us sound the mantra again as a group, recognizing the 3 aspects of divinity, the essence of each statement. May the power of the one life, anchored in the heart center, pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of the one soul, anchored in the head center, characterize the lives of all who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part in the one work, expressed as the integrated personality directed through the awakened Ajna center, through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech.
We can think of these three expressions, self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech, in relation to the spiritual triad. We attempt to touch the Buddhic plane and the intuition, and as we reach toward the spiritual triad from the soul personality through the soul vehicle, or our causal body that is located on the higher mental plane, we bring these energies through the soul vehicle into the spiritualized personality and demonstrate that intuition as self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech. So this life principle in man manifests in a triple manner: the directional will, purpose, and basic incentive, the power of the one life, the coherent force, the love of the one soul, characterizing our group life, and as the activity of the atoms and cells in the physical body, as we fulfill our part in the one work through the total expression of self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech.
What, in the last analysis, is a principle? A principle is that which, macrocosmically speaking, is being developed upon each plane of our 7 planes, the 7 subplanes of the cosmic physical plane. It is the germ or seed on each subplane which embodies some aspect of the divine unfolding consciousness. It is that which is fundamentally related to some form of sensitivity. It is that to which the bodies, as they evolve, find that they can respond. A principle is a germ of awareness, carrying all the potentiality of full consciousness on some particular level of divine activity. It is that which makes knowledge and conscious response to environment possible. It is that which connotes a sequential and unrolling sensitive activity, resulting in divine understanding, possible and inevitable.
What is the fifth principle? The great word that pierced through 100 years of Brahma, or persists in reverberation throughout a solar system, is the sacred sound of AUM. In differentiation, and as heard in time and space, each of those 3 mystic letters stands for the first letter of a subsidiary phrase consisting of various sounds. One letter, with a sequence of 4 sounds, makes up the vibration or note of Brahma, which is the intelligence aspect dominant in matter. Hence the mystery hidden in the pentagon, in the 5th principle of mind, and in the 5 planes of human evolution. These 5 letters, when sounded forth on the right note, give the key to the true inwardness of matter and also to its control. This control being based on the right interpretation of the law of economy.
What is the 5th kingdom? The spiritual kingdom. In the 5th kingdom, the consciousness to be developed is that of the group, and this shows itself in the full flowering of the love-wisdom faculty. man but repeats on a higher turn of the spiral the work of the three lower kingdoms, for in the human kingdom he shows for the third aspect of active intelligence. In the fifth kingdom, which is entered at the first initiation, and which covers all the period of time wherein a man takes the first 5 initiation, and that wherein he works as a master, as part of the hierarchy, the love wisdom, or second aspect, comes to its consummation. At the 6 and 7 initiations, the first, or will aspect, shined forth, and from being a master of compassion and a lord of love, the adept becomes something more. He enters into a still higher consciousness than that of the group, and becomes God conscious. The great will or purpose of the Logos becomes his.
As we work as part of the fifth kingdom in this progression after the first initiation, let us consider the fires of mind.
The fires of the mental plane demonstrate in a twofold manner. First, as the fire of mind, the basis of all expression, and in one peculiar occult sense, the sum total of existence. It provides the relation between the life and the form, between spirit and matter, and is the basis of consciousness itself. Second, as the elementals of fire, or the sum total of the active expression of thought, showing itself through the medium of those entities who, in their very essence, are fire itself.
Again and repeatedly, students must remind themselves that we are considering the impact of energy upon energy units, all qualified and producing appearance, and with the response of those energy units to the streams of force that reach them from the furthest center. It is in the development of response to distant points of contact and emanating sources of energy that the needed sensitivity is produced. Sensitivity, generally speaking, is of a threefold nature. First, sensitivity to that which is found within oneself. This, when the consciousness is adequately self-sufficient, opens a door for the entrance of energies coming from the middle center. I speak in symbols, and for those whose knowledge of cosmic location and of points in time and space will enable them to comprehend. To the uninitiate, I simply say, respond to soul impact. Secondly, sensitivity to that which emanates from the centers left behind, or to those streams of vital energy which lie active and focused below the threshold of the waking consciousness. They stir the threads of memory. They draw backward the glances, and there lies magic in the energy of the eye. On the onward moving point, the pilgrim on his way, they condition through ancient habit the responsiveness of the units in the form. And thirdly, a developed sensitivity which emerges from the furthest center, at first unconsciously employed, and later consciously directed and attuned. A fully magnetic and attractive sensitivity. Forget not, the true interplay imposes the condition of reciprocity, and that the 2 points of termini of a line eventually vibrate in unison. The cardinal cross, Aries Libra axis. The point of creation, moving to the point of equilibrium and balance. The interplay along the axis.
All the appearances, expressions of qualities, and material evidences of life are the symbol or outer and visible signs of inner and spiritual realities, or of life, whatever you may mean by that term. For our purposes, we could define life as the energy emanating from certain great lives who stand behind our solar system as its life and source, much as the monad stands behind the appearance of a man upon the physical plane, or of the soul upon its own level. Man, it might be stated, is the expression of 7 principles and of the life expression or activity of 5 planes. In this 7 plus 5 is to be found the clue to the mystery of the 7 and the 5 zodiacal constellations.
We can study the signs of the cardinal cross in relation to the significance of 5 and 7. The 5 signs that relate to the unfoldment in time and space of the human hierarchy are Cancer, Leo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. These relate to the 5 races, the Aryan race being the 5th. Also to the 5 continents, which are related to 5 centers and to the 5 major endocrine glands and activity of the 5 planes. The 7 signs that relate to the unfoldment of planetary consciousness upon Earth and are only incidentally involving of the human hierarchy are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Virgo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. These relate to the 7 principles to be developed on the cosmic, physical, etheric plane. Thinking of the Aries-Libra axis, both part of the 7 signs relating to the 7 principles. The unfoldment of planetary consciousness upon Earth, only incidentally relating to the human hierarchy. What appears in Aries as spiritual energy enters into the soul stage in Cancer, in which sign the soul incarnates for the first time in form, reaches a point of equilibrium in Libra, in which sign soul and personality achieve a balance of cooperation. Aries, Cancer, Libra a triangle of the energies of the seventh ray of ceremonial order. As we enter into the Aquarian age and the importance of the seventh ray energy, this triangle will continue to have an increasing effect and impact on planetary life and the evolution of planetary consciousness through Aries and Libra, and through the evolution of human consciousness, the fourth creative hierarchy, through Cancer. Aries initiates the cycle of manifestation. All souls as individual entities come into human incarnation for the first time in the sign of Cancer, emerging as mental entities in the sign Aries. Master DK gives us the progress of the man in Aries on page 332 in Esoteric Astrology. The undeveloped man is blind and has undirected experience and instinctual reaction, and on the mutable cross moves from instinct to intellect with directed personality effort, motivated by desire. In ordinary humanity, this is unstable embryonic beginnings leading to the balancing of the lower psychic nature and its expression through form. Embryonic desire for expression consummates in the passion of satisfaction. Lower love controls. In the initiate or disciple, the achieved equilibrium at the point of rest provides the mental impetus for soul control. Passion is transmuted into love, and the initial desire of Aries becomes the full expression of love wisdom. Desire to manifest becomes the aspiration to be. On the fixed cross, from intellect to intuition, aspiration and inspiration resulting in illumination. A recognition and work with the plan. Will. Aries turns towards Capricorn and a point of identification that allows the mounting of the cardinal cross.
Aries and the act of identification. This involves what has been called a moment of opening up, during which the initiate sees that which lies within the cosmic intent and begins to function not only as a planetary unit, but as a cosmic focal point. The Buddha of activity, responsible for this type of planetary activity, works with the Lord of the first ray and functions as an outpost of the consciousness of the informing life of Aries and of Leo. His work is only now beginning to assume importance.
This triplicity of constellations, the Great Bear, Sirius, and the Pleiades, in its two great routes around the zodiac, the ordinary wheel and the reversed wheel, have a definite and momentous effect and are called paramount signs of influence. Through the triangle of Aries, Gemini, and Libra, during this process, the mental principle, the discriminating mind, on the ordinary and then on the reversed wheel, is developed. And in this specific connection, not in a general connection, DK tells us, the emphasis is laid upon the influence of Aries, Gemini, and Libra. Under that influence, the man learns to overcome desire through experiment with and experience with experiment with and experience of every kind of desire and selfish impulse. Thus, gradually and with infinite pain, the human soul learns to function first as a member of the human family on the ordinary wheel, and secondly, as a spiritual entity, the divine soul, on the reversed wheel. That energy of Aries, Gemini, and Libra enters into our solar system, and the ruling planets then, their energy moves through the triangle of Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity.
The will. Will is the energy of the soul, expressing itself as direction, progress, and conformity to the plan. This plan, from the standpoint of the individual, is as much of the sense will of God as he can, at any particular stage in his experience, grasp, and understand. There is a definite distinction between purpose and will. It is subtle indeed, but quite definite to the advanced initiate, and therefore the dualistic nature of our planetary manifestation and our solar expression appear even in this. Will is active, purpose is passive, waiting for the results of the activity of the will.
Will is active, intelligent purpose, lovingly applied. Coherency, affecting lives, forms, and substances, is an expression of will and purpose, motivated by love, and implemented intelligently in carrying forward the plans to which the purpose seeks expression. Will is the governing principle of the next or coming solar system, which will be brought into manifestation through the agency of those human beings who, in this solar system, arrive at the full expression of the will aspect. Will governs the way into Shambhala and is the foundation for all approach to, appreciation of, and identification with being. It is that which holds all things within the circle of divine life, and this energy is the agent for the revelation of the divine purpose. The will. A statement to the personality made by you, the soul, the disciple. In the center of the will of God I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from His. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men. The will is too often regarded as a power by means of which things are done, activities are instituted, and plans worked out. This general definition is the easiest for men to formulate because it is understood by them in terms of their own self-will, the will to individual self-betterment. Selfish and misunderstood at first, but tending eventually to selflessness as evolution carries out its beneficent task. Then the will is interpreted in terms of the hierarchical plan, and the effort of the individual man becomes that of negating his self-will and seeking to merge his will with that of the group being itself an aspect of the hierarchical effort. This is a great step onward in orientation and will lead to a change in consciousness eventually. This last sentence is of importance.
Aries, the will to manifest, the will to be, in our solar system, expressing as the will to create. The rays in Aries, first ray, the will to initiate, second ray, the will to express, second ray, the will to unify, fourth ray, the will to harmonize, sixth ray, the will to cause, in the science of the rays.
In our study of the rays, it must be remembered that we are dealing with life expression through the medium of matter form. The highest unity will be cognized only when this dual relation is perfected. The theory of the one life may be held, but I deal not basically with theory, but with that which may be known, provided there is growth and intelligent application of truth. I deal with possibility and with that which is capable of achievement. The seven rays are the first differentiation of the divine triplicity of spirit, consciousness, form, and they provide the entire field of expression for the manifested deity. We are told in the scriptures of the world that the interplay or the relation between Father, Spirit, and Mother, Matter, produces eventually a third, which is the Sun, or the consciousness aspect. That Sun, the product of the two, is esoterically defined as the one who was third, but is the second. The reason for this wording is that there first existed the two divine aspects, spirit matter, or matter impregnated with life, and it was only when these two realized their mutual unity, note the necessary ambiguity of that phrase, that the Sun emerged. The esotericist, however, regards spirit matter as the first unity, and the Sun, therefore, is the second factor. This Sun, who is divine life incarnate in matter, and consequently the producer of the diversity and immensity of forms, is the embodiment of divine quality. We might therefore utilize, for the sake of clarity, the terms life, quality, appearance, as interchangeable with the more usual trinity of spirit, soul, body, or life, consciousness, form.
The first ray aspect of the monad, responding to the first aspect of deity, evokes response from the first ray aspect of the soul, and the first step towards incarnation is taken on that plane in the system which is the mental plane,
Rays that flow through Aries are curiously balanced. Rays 1 and 7 are the highest and the lowest, and therefore demand a point of balance upon the wheel, which is provided in Libra. Rays 6 and 4 bring to this balancing process the energy of the second ray, the major building ray which enables the man to build anew and provide himself with a spiritual body of manifestation. Let us sound together the words of power for each of the rays, streaming into our planetary life, from Aries through Mars, Mercury, and Uranus. I assert the fact. First ray, words of power. I see the greatest light. Second ray, words of power. Two merge with one. Fourth ray, words of power. The highest light controls. Sixth ray, words of power. The highest and the lowest meet. Seventh ray, words of power.
Oft an aspirant says to himself, "Of what real use am I? How can I, in my small sphere, be of service to the world?" Let me reply to these questions by pointing out that by thinking this teaching into the minds of the public, by expressing before your fellow men the teaching it imparts, and by a life lived in conforming with its teaching, your service is very real. This will necessarily involve a pledging of the entire personality to the helping of humanity, and the promise to the higher self that endeavor will be made to lose sight of self in service. A service to be rendered in the place and under the circumstances which a man's destiny and duty have imposed upon him.
Aus dem Quell des Lichts im Denken Gottes ströme Licht herab ins Menschendenken. Es werde Licht auf Erden. Aus dem Quell der Liebe im Herzen Gottes ströme Liebe aus in alle Menschenherzen. Möge Christus wiederkommen auf Erden. Aus dem Zentrum, das den Willen Gottes kennt, lenke Plan, beseelte Kraft die kleinen Menschenwillen zu dem Endziel, dem die Meister wissend dienen. Durch das Zentrum, das wir Menschheit nennen, entfalte sich der Plan der Liebe und des Lichts und siegle zu die Tür zum Übel. Mögen Licht und Liebe und Kraft den Plan auf Erden wiederherstellen. Oh.